What's going on, everyone? So these San Antonio Spurs have a ton of guards. And one of the things that, kind of is the question is at some point, not saying today, not saying even necessarily this year, but at some point, they're going to have to make some decisions on some of these guards, right? Like, because you're not going to be able to keep De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, right? Like, Keldon Johnson's probably on his way out sooner or later, but like, you're not going to be able to keep four guards, right? But I've seen people like, oh, you could just play those guys together. Really? You're going to play four guards and Victor Wembanyama, four basically 6'5" guards, right? Some are even smaller than that, but on average, like 6'5" guards, right? And Victor Wembanyama for 30 to 35 minutes a night, right? Like, you're going to be tiny, right? Like, some of those guys, there's always going to be a pecking order, right? So again, like Devin Vassell is never going to be the second or third guy, right? Like, again, you still need a team. No, I hear a lot of people, oh, positionless, we're in position. Yes, but you still need a point guard, still need a center, right? Like the positionless sense is really like the two and three and four spot. It's not fully positionless, but it's like if you have a 6'7" guy, you can slot him, 2 through 4 for you. If you have a 6'8" guy, he can slot in the 3 or the 4, right? But not a bunch of 6'3" to 6'5" guys. Now, look, here's the thing. I hear people, the other kind of counter argument to that is like, well, the Thunder, look at the Thunder. They have a bunch of guards. They're running like 4 guards out there. But again, there's a big difference between the Thunder's role two-way buy-in guards and the type of guards that the Spurs have. The type of guards that the Spurs have are all star level guards. They're all guys that you want being your first, second, third option on a championship contender. Dylan Harper is looked at as like he might be the face of the league at some point. Stephon Castle, again, another, all-star level guard. Devin Vassell, can he kind of take those strides and emerge that? De'Aaron Fox is already an all-star level guard, right? Lou Dort is not that, right? Maybe he could be an all-star one day or something, but he is a role guy, right? My job is to defend the best guard on the other team and hit the open three. Right? Like, they're stars. Look at the stars. It's, SGA, 6'6", 6'7". It's Chet Holmgren, who's 6'11", 7 feet, whatever, right? You got Jalen Williams, who, again, 6'7", right? That can play either forward spot, play 2 through 4 for you, right? Like, it's not, like, the guards that the Thunder have are all the role guys. Right? It's not a bunch of guards stuff, because what's going to happen with the Spurs is eventually you're going to have guards stumbling all over themselves. Dylan Harper at some point is going to want to be the guy. Right? Dylan Harper at some point is going to be like, dude, I'm the best player on this team, not named Wimmy. Give me the basketball and let me create. Let me go be the James Harden, the Cade Cunningham type. Well, okay, De'Aaron Fox, he can't play the 2 guard. He's best as a point guard. But he's not good off ball. He doesn't shoot the ball well enough to play off ball. So at some point, you're going to have to make a decision between those two, right? Maybe Dylan Harper can slot in at the 2. Okay, fine. Well, then what do you do with Stephon Castle? He's not going to want to come off the bench for the rest of his career. Right? He's going to, and the thing is like, those Spurs fans like Manu, but Manu did there was never a guy like Manu before, and there hasn't been a guy like Manu since. Like, even James Harden eventually went and became a starter and the face of a team and was one of the best players in basketball. Right? That's rare. That's not like a normal thing. That's a rare occurrence. That's why everyone always uses Manu as the example. A guy that could have started probably anywhere in the league, but was willing to come off the bench in the 6-man role. But he also played 30-plus minutes a night. But they also had, guys like Tim Duncan that slot in at the 4 or the 5. And, you had the positions, right? You had the size and stuff to where you could go Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, right? You weren't running 3, it wasn't 3, 4 guards. Right? And even in today's NBA, 3 or 4 guards, you can't do, yes, you can go small ball at times, but you're going to go the entire game that way. Because you got to keep in mind, all those guys are going to want to play 30-plus minutes. Not saying that they're going to have to make a decision on those guys right now. They have time. But this team is going to start getting expensive. Right? Again, you're going to have De'Aaron Fox, who's about to get a max contract. Right? Spurs supposedly might not want to give him a max, or at least not give him the years. They might give him the money, but not the years. Right? Which already signals that the Spurs know, if that's true, if that report is true, then that means that the Spurs know they're not going to be able to keep De'Aaron Fox forever. De'Aaron Fox isn't retiring a Spur because they know Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle and those guys are going to be your guard. Like Dylan Harper's probably going to be your point guard. Stephon Castle's probably going to be your 2 guard. And Victor Wembanyama's probably going to be your center or power forward if they end up getting some like crazy center at some point, right? Like those 3 guys are your building blocks. Everyone else is expendable, right? Devin Vassell, let's say Devin Vassell becomes a 23-point-a-game scorer next year, right? Like, okay, sell him high. That's great. Sell him high. Because again, like, what are you going to do? You're going to play him at the 3 for the rest of his career? Right? Like, and then he's going to be the 4th, 5th option for us because you're either going to stunt the growth of some of these guys because you're not going to be able to have 5 guys all averaging 20 and all 5 guys making max money. And all of a sudden, Eagles start getting involved. And now people want to get paid. It's like, dude, I'm playing as the 5th guy and I was supposed to be the 2nd or 3rd, right? Like, again, all of those things start to take effect. All those things matter. Like, you're not, the Spurs don't look at Stephon Castle as a role player. They don't look at Stephon Castle like an Alex Caruso or a Carson Wallace, right? They look at him as the SGA. Same thing with Dylan Harper. They're not looking at Dylan Harper as the Lou Dort type. They're looking at him as the SGA. Like, and again, Dylan Harper or Devin Vassell, a lot of guards. Devin Vassell, right? He's not that role. Like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll just clamp dude up and knock down the 3 ball. Let me do that. No, because he was supposed to be the face. Things have changed. You know, like this team, this roster, all of that has changed. So if you're the Spurs, you're going to have to start making those decisions sooner rather than later. Right? So that's why when the reports come out about De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs might look to trade De'Aaron Fox and whatnot, I don't doubt it. Right? I'm not saying that they're going to do it today. Even the reports aren't saying that they're going to do it today. But that at some point they're going to have to, which probably is true. Probably going to have to trade it. Again, the Spurs built the roster and got the players in the team, right, in the moment. They traded for De'Aaron Fox because in the moment they needed a point guard. And they needed an all-star caliber point guard. And they needed a point guard that was going to be kind of the face of their team at that position. They didn't know that they were going to get Dylan Harper. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the trade. They had a crystal ball and they could have saw, we're going to get Dylan Harper in 6 months. They probably don't make the De'Aaron Fox trade. Why? Because they would have went and got Dylan Harper. That would have been the guy. Right? There was never even a thought that they were going to get Dylan Harper. Right? Like, same thing. Like, do they go get Stephon Castle if they knew in another year they were going to get Dylan Harper? I don't know. Maybe. Because they might have been like, okay, we can play both. You know, but maybe they go, no, hey, we should go get another position. They never knew that they were going to get Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper changed everything for this team. But we'll see. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoyed these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.